What up, dude? And welcome to Let's Talk Detroit Lions Talk, brought to you by Lions Nation Unite. Today, we conclude our season in review. We look at the coaching staff and we give our end of the year awards right here for Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Offense, defense, special teams, rookie of the years for the offensive defense, and so much more. But before we get into all that content, y'all see the crew. I got to bring them in. First up, y'all see him. The ladies love him. The coolest man on the show. My man, L Cool Jones. What's up, my dude?
Good morning, y'all. I was waiting to see what was about to happen today. But was am Proud Nation, and of course, good morning again.
All right, then we got to bring in our resident defensive line coach, the boxing pride of Jackson, Michigan. Y'all know it. He always says it with his chest. Who?
Coach Jones. Who is Coach Mike Jones? What's going on, Lion fans?
Let's get this thing started
Right now.
Let go.
It's Detroit Lions talk, baby.
We're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Yes, sir. We in the deep.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're going to start this one off by kicking it over to our man, Curt.
All right, you know, we got to talk about the coaches. The Detroit Lions started this 2021 season by introducing the newest head coach, Dan Campbell, in a fiery and emotional presser. Former Detroit Lions tight end coach talked about the attitude he wanted from his players. He spoke about the team playing with heart and passion, you know, MCDC or Dan Talica, you know, whatever you say. Talked about biting kneecaps, and that when the other teams played the Lions, that he knew they were going to be in for a fight. So Campbell didn't sugarcoat it. He said this team wasn't going to have a ton of success right away, but they were going to build something Lions fans could be proud of in the future. Because if you go back, check the tapes, he did say that it was going to be a down year. He said, you know, it's going to take a while, but we're going to get this thing going. Campbell then assembled a all-star crew on his coaching staff full of former NFL players. On offense, he had former running backs Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator, former running back Deuce Staley as the assistant head coach, and running backs coach Mark Brunell joined as the staff as the quarterbacks coach, along with Antoine Randall L as the wide receivers coach. I mean, damn. I mean, look at all these former players. The best thing that Dan Campbell did was convincing offensive line coach Hank Fraley, who was a former player himself, again, to return to the team and not go to Pittsburgh because he took that interview. On defense, another players. Defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn came to Detroit and followed Campbell from New Orleans, you know, the all-pro cornerback and safety. Man, then he had another former player. Come on now. Linebacker coach Calvin Shepard. I mean, come on, man. When is it going to stop with all these former players? Also joined the staff, along with Mark DeLeon, who he stole from the Chicago Bears. And then they brought up Mark Walsh to be the defensive line coach from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, in my opinion, this is just me because I'm a little bit biased. The best addition to the defensive coaching staff, besides Aaron Glenn, was, of course, defensive backs coach Arby Pleasant. I mean, that guy. I mean, we all know what he's done with that makeshift staff back there, makeshift crew back there in that defensive backfield. Now, that offense struggled to score points and be consistent in that first half of the season. I mean, we already know A-Lin's already left the staff. His play calling duties were stripped halfway through the season because we just couldn't bear it no more, and neither could Dan Campbell. So he took over the offensive play calling with tight end coach Ben Johnson, assisting him as the passing game coordinator, and that offense improved drastically after that Week 9 bye. Hank Fraley did a bang-up job keeping that offensive line running like a well-oiled machine with all the injuries they suffered. Talk about Frank Ragnow, started the season off without Taylor Decker. I mean, the list just goes on and on with all the injuries, even to the backups were getting injured. And they kept that offensive line going. So Hank Fraley did a great job with the offensive line. On the defense, you know, every level dealt with injuries. The defensive backfield really suffered the most. A revolving door at corner, 10 corners played. I mean, ridiculous, but Aubrey Pleasant kept those guys playing at a high level, no matter who was back there. Even Mark DeLeon and Calvin Shepard did a good job with those linebackers, either being inside linebackers, outside linebackers, because there was a rotating door with that. Because you lost Romeo Aquara, Trey Flowers. Then you're looking at Alex Anzalone in the interior was lost. We got rid of Jamie Collins. I mean, you look at this, the roster turnover on the defense was just a big deal. But these guys kept the young guys playing, no-name guys coming in to take over the roster when there was injuries or COVID or whatever else that was happening to this team. But those coaches kept this team playing like a well-oiled machine. For even the special teams, excuse me, Dave Fipp, the special teams coordinator, even dealt with the roster turnover. How many kickers did we go through? I mean, a ton of those cats. I mean, we went through a whole bunch of kickers till we finally found Riley Patterson and signed him off the Patriots practice squad. Now, the Lions did a good job of putting together this makeshift roster that played hard throughout the entire season, and I will have to commend them. If you look at this team, I didn't expect much as far as in the win column, and they could have been closer in a lot of games where they could have won. You talk about 3 walk-off losses, NFL record. But this team took on the identity of Dan Campbell, where they fought hard, they played hard. No matter who was on the field, it was next man up, and they gave it 100%, 110%, and left nothing to be left on the field. So they left everything out there, and I just commend this coaching staff for the job they did. Now, people will say, well, it wasn't successful at 3-13-1. If you look at what they had on this roster and all the injuries and turnover that they had on this roster, 3-13 is a decent record for what they had. Now, Coach Jones, you spoke about this before. I think it's the first time in the NFL history you had a losing team beat 2 double-digit win teams throughout the season.
Yep.
And before, I close this out, it took Dan Campbell one season what it took Matt Patricia a few years to do. He had two divisional wins in his first season as the Lions head coach, beating the Minnesota Vikings and the Packers in the same year. That hasn't happened in a long time for the first year head coach. I think you got to go back to Jim Caldwell for that to happen. So you look at overall the coaching staff, for me, I think did an excellent job, and they're rewarded because they're going to be coaching in the Reese's Senior Bowl. The assistants will assume the leadership role with the new kind of rules for the Reese's Senior Bowl, and the head coaches, which is Dan Campbell and Robert Salah from the Jets, will be in an advisory role. So basically, they're giving these young assistant head coaches assistant coaches a chance to kind of evaluate the talent on their own and kind of just be coaches. I believe Deuce Staley will be the head coach for the Reese's Senior Bowl, and Dan Campbell would be his advisor throughout that game. I think to sum everything up for me, the Lions coaching staff did the best they could with what they had, and they bought in. I mean, I think you only had one guy that had an issue with people buying in, and he's not here anymore because we couldn't buy into what he was doing because he couldn't buy into what Dan Campbell's vision was, and I guess he had to go, so it didn't work out. So what do you guys think about how the coaching staff performed this year?
Yeah, I think the coaching staff did way above expectations. I think if you look at what we have roster-wise, we're the 42nd ranked team in the NFL. And
that 42nd, not 36th.
That means 10 spots below Jacksonville. And really, I think Houston is really the worst talented team other than Jacksonville. But I think we're that far behind everybody else talent-wise, and those coaches were able to coach those guys up. And man, it's just good, man. It's a great feeling in Detroit, man. I can't wait for next year.
Yeah. Right. You said it all, Curt, and Mike, you had a little bit more, but just from the beginning, the press conference to the first game to, the first couple of games to the first half of the season to now that the season has ended, we at least I've seen what feels like progression. Things have changed. We got to do a lot to undo what was done here with the past regime. I even seen the thing yesterday with Calvin Johnson walking back into the building. You know, he a few months ago he was like, I don't care. I'm gonna come do this and whatever, but I don't really care about y'all. He didn't even think. I think he didn't even thank the Lions in his Hall of Fame speech. But I'm guessing this regime is ready to right some of the wrongs or most of the wrongs that were done by the past regime, and it's already paying off. We're getting a little bit more respect than I would say that we've had in a very long time. I don't want to say ever, but in a very long time, I haven't heard this widely the Lions get respect when we only won 3 games this year. So that there says a whole lot to Dan Campbell and his coaching staff. And what makes Dan Campbell a leader, I guess, or good at whatever it is that he's doing is what Curt said. And he listed, all of the coaches that he put together. This is what some people could consider an all-star team, an all-star coaching staff. And, I think that the end result was showing in everything they've been putting together. Even though, I'm gonna throw this in here, even though I don't blame Anthony Lynn, but peaceful travels. I don't know where you're gonna end up. Wherever do your thing. You won't have Jared Goff, so you'll be in a much better position. But you already know, man. I mess with it and I like it, and I think the future is super bright here.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, now before we switch gears and kind of move on, we're gonna give out our first award of the show because this is our season, the conclusion of our season review for the Lions. So, gonna give out the whoever the assistant coach of the year, because Dan Campbell's the coach of the year for the Lions. We already know that, but we're gonna focus on the assistants because they had a tough job this year. I mean, you look at everything that went on with this roster. So, first up, I'm gonna go to you, Coach Mike. Who is your assistant coach of the year?
Deuce Staley. It gotta be Deuce Staley because
What?
any running back that was in the game produced. It don't matter if it was the first string, second string, third string, practice squad guy. They all produced because he said something to them. He got them to see through his vision of the game, and we had an effective running game. Like you said, it was over 1,800 yards this year with the guy from the training squad. So hey, Deuce Staley.
All right, what you got, LL?
I did not think Mike was going to go that way. I thought he may mention somebody on the defensive side of the ball. Mm-hmm. I'm going with Hank Fraley because I thought for sure that one of y'all was going to go with AG. But honorable mention, I'll say Aubrey Pleasant. But I'm going with Hank Fraley just because he had to keep convincing his guys week in and week out to go out there and protect Jared Goff, no matter how good or how bad he played. I think that is a huge coaching skill in itself. He could get those group of guys to go out there and and squad up and protect like they did for most of this season. It was games where I kept mentioning it'd be pages of screenshots of clean pockets that they were giving the quarterback, and whatever the result was, that was the result. But the offensive line stayed in what they were doing. We even had we had to introduce a new positional player on both sides. Really, he came in new on the right side. He had to fill in on the left side and then went right back to the right side. And we saw progression at each step of his turn. So I'm going with Hank Fraley, man, with a honor. Forget my honorable mention because I feel like Curt's probably gonna pick him. So I take that back. But,
so that is my assistant coach of the year has to be Aubrey Pleasant, defensive back coach. We talked about it earlier this week. 10 cornerbacks play on this roster this year. And we finished decently in the passing game as far as giving up for the 24th in passing yards per game. And with the talent level that we had, practice squad players coming up, undrafted free agents, we lost our, starting corners like right in the first game of the year. And the progression of Amani Oruye's game and actually Tracy Walker's game, between Aaron Glenn, but Aubrey Pleasant was that architect of that secondary. And just the way that he talks as a coach and the way he teaches, it's as well beyond his years. He's a young man, and I can see a head coaching job in the future for Aubrey Pleasant. So, but that's my
Mm.
assistant coach of the year for the Detroit Lions. Hey, if you like the video, share the video, comment on the video, join us, subscribe to the channel. We're on that march to 4,000 subscribers. So get on the bus, Gus. Get on the train, Wayne. Get on this ride, Clyde. And it's cost you what? It's free. Free. If you need more free, it's free. 99 and 50 free cent. That means you can keep your wallet closed and just hit that subscribe button. So now it's time for the family discussion topic for today. How do you think the coaching staff did this year? Because a lot of people didn't give Dan Campbell a lot of credit earlier in the year. They were calling him a goofball, and they kept, saying that he kept making these dumb decisions and going forward on fourth down. But he ended up setting the record for the fourth down attempts and fourth down conversion. So I don't know. You let me know how you think the coaching staff did. Now it's time for us to switch gears. Okay, what you got, Ella?
Let me add, do you see how they talk about Brandon Staley for his fourth down call? And how, I mean, maybe because we ain't there yet, but we don't hear nobody talk about Dan Campbell like that.
No.
I understand why though. That Brandon Staley was tripping a little bit on Sunday, or whenever. I think it was they played Sunday, right? But
yeah, Sunday Night Football against
it
Raiders.
They don't really like it, but it does show aggression. But I guess that could be the other side of the aggression.
Yeah, definitely. All right, now it's time for us to switch gears. Now it's time to get into our Player of the Year's awards, man. Now we're gonna switch to LL, and he's gonna give us his Offensive Player of the Year and his rookie Offensive Player of the Year.
Well, my Offensive Player of the Year won't be who y'all might want me to say. Heavens no. But Offensive Player of the Year, I'm gonna go with. Well, since my Offensive Rookie of the Year will be Penei Sewell, of course. He had the feeling on both sides of the line. Did an admirable job. I thought he was playing, well above whatever people thought he might do in his first year on both sides of the ball. He even had to deal with being compared to other rookie tackles and whatever they were doing, but that talk kind of subsided after a while, and then he ended up getting compared to the best tackle in the game and the greatest tackle of probably my lifetime, and that's Silverback Williams down there in San Francisco. I'll never forget that, by the way. He was so cold that I think it was still what's the commissioner's name? Goodell. I think it was still Goodell. But he called his name to the podium as Trent Silverback Williams. I thought that was just the coldest thing ever. But he's getting compared to that guy now. So that's my Offensive Rookie of the Year. And my Offensive Player of the Year, I'll say is I'm gonna go with DeAndre Swift because I'm gonna leave some of the options open. But DeAndre Swift had a good year. He had to miss some games. I don't know exactly how injured he was. He may have been hurt, but I don't know if he was injured. I think they may have been preserving him because he had some nicks and bumps in the past. So maybe they're just trying to preserve him for when things actually get good around here and we'll need him to play hurt. So my Offensive Player of the Year will be DeAndre Swift. And my Rookie of the Year will be Penei Sewell.
Okay. All right. So what you got, Coach Mike?
Yeah. LL. Jared Goff is my rookie or is my Offensive Player of the Year.
You picked a bad player.
Nah, I didn't. Because Jared Goff, if you think about it, the quarterback runs everything on the offense. So he had to come in. He had not only grasped a new system, new coaches, he had to deal with these receivers out here from practice squad and cut people and people they traded, just wanted to get rid of. And he went out here and he actually engineered a pretty stable offense toward the end of the year. So I got to give it to Jared Goff. And my Rookie of the Year, got to be a mile and say, Brown, man, like, how can you win? How can you be up for Rookie of the Week the last 6 weeks in a row? You know what I'm saying? And not get it, man. So that's my Offensive Rookie of the Year. Because
your Offensive Player of the Year forgot he was on the team until 6 weeks ago.
Okay, my offensive player of the year is Penei Sewell. Offensive Player of the Year is Penei Sewell. Just how he progressed from left tackle to right tackle. The guy had a solid year. Definitely went out there and played some of his best football as a Lions offensive lineman in a very long time. So that's my offensive player of the year. Penei Sewell held it down in the run game, held it down in the pass game. Didn't matter he was on the left, didn't matter he was on the right. And the end of the year as one of the top ranked offensive linemen, not just rookies, but top offensive linemen, especially offensive tackles in the league. So he is my offensive player of the year. Offensive rookie of the year has to be the Sun God. That guy, like LL said, if he would have had more production earlier in the season, he would have had just as good of numbers or as better numbers as Jamar Chase, Waddle, or Devontae Smith out of the Eagles. So that is my offensive rookie of the year. Has to be the Sun guy, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, by the way, is already on the judge machine getting ready for next season. So there you go. So now it's time to switch gears. But before that, hey, if you're going to get yourself some Lions gear, go over to fanatics.com. All the gear I'm wearing right now that's coming from fanatics.com. So go over there. I even got this nice, Detroit Lions mug over there. So go over to the fanatics.com. The link's in the description. A portion of the proceeds go to help us grow the content on this channel. And they're having a good wide sale right now. 65% off on select items site-wide. So go over and check it out with free shipping. So fanatics.com and get yourself some gear. Now it's time to switch to the defensive side of the ball. And we got our resident defensive line coach to set it off. My man, who?
It's Coach Jones. On defensive line, my defensive player of the year has to be Amani Oruwariye. Just how he stepped up and how he's filled in and became that number one guy. I mean, he did it when it was not expected, and I think his play is just good. Besides having that little minor hiccup against Jefferson, he did pretty well. And my defensive rookie of the year got to be Aleem McNeil because he held it down. Aleem McNeil. There was no talk of we need a new nose tackle or anything. So Aleem McNeil has to be my defensive rookie of the year. What you got, LL?
Well, my defensive player of the year, I thought for sure you was going to say this guy, but I'm going to go with Charles Harris. He led the team with 7.5 sacks. He did great for his career to share whatever was thought about him. He showed that he can come and at least put some tape up. Some good tape. But he was a part of, turning the defense around. Whenever defense played well, Charles Harris was playing real well. And my defensive rookie of the year, I wish I could pick two. I'm gonna pick Levi because I feel like I'm gonna leave an option open for Curt. So I'm gonna go with Levi just because I know he didn't have the great big old numbers and things like that. But if you guys remember, not comparing him to Warren Sapp, but when Warren Sapp went from Tampa Bay, having to be that sack master, whatever it was, and he went over to Oakland at the time, to the Raiders, and they were calling his bad trades, blah blah blah. He only had a couple of sacks, but that defense was turned around because of the position that he played. He didn't have the big sack numbers, but the defensive numbers were, improved. And he was a part of the big defensive improvement. Anytime there was a big stuff run, you've seen 75 somewhere around. Well, I shouldn't say anytime, but a lot of times you've seen 75 around there. He was pretty active. He just, didn't have the big old sack number. And I think that, he'd be a little bit better going forward. But so defensive rookie of the year, Levi Onwuzurike. Defensive player of the year, be my guy, 53, Charles Harris.
Okay. All right, so let's close this out. My defensive player of the year has to be 21 himself, Tracy Walker. He led the team in tackles for the whole season. I mean, he had a really good year, contract year. I think it was the best season he's ever played in Detroit. So he is my defensive player of the year, is Tracy Walker. Good old number 21 or 21 Savage, like he called himself back there on the back side of the defense. Yes, he does. All right, so on my defensive rookie of the year has to be Jerry Jacobs. That young fella played his heart out, played tough, really tackled well the whole season, came in and produced and a lot of people thought he would just be burnt toast all year. Of course, he struggled some, but you look at some of the big plays he's made in some big games and some of the wide receivers he's faced, that kid has a bright future. And I give him the credit also with Aubrey Pleasant, but Jerry Jacobs is my, and they called him the pit bull. And guys were kind of hesitant to go up against him because that they knew they was in for a fight. He embodied that Dan Campbell mentality when you see, because he fought and scrapped, and you knew you was in a fight every time you lined up against Jerry Jacobs all year long. So that is our defensive players and rookies of the year. Hey, if you want to get more content with us, go over and check us out on Live Station Unite, your one-stop shop, the ultimate virtual hangout for Detroit Lions fans. You can watch our content and so much more content right there inside the app. So go check it out. You can hang out with the crew. You can hang out with more super fans. You got Lions Man over there. You got Michael Banks, who's the Hall of Fame nominee. You got so many crackmans over there. It's a whole bunch of super fans. So, and if you just want to meet up with some Lions fans, you can hang out with those guys over there on Live Station Unite. You know that's a funny nickname, but yeah, that's his name. Brian Crackman. That's what he.
No, I know a Crackman. I know that's not him, but we used to call him Pac-Man back in the day. Now he call him Crackman. But.
Yeah. So all right. So now it's time for us to switch gears. I'm going first this time. Now it's time for our special teams players of the year. There's not going to be a rookie because there's, we only got really the three battery guys. You got Scott Daly, you got Jack Fox, and definitely you have the rookie kicker in Riley Patterson. And speaking of him, Riley Patterson is my special teams player of the year. You look at how much stuff that went through all year in the kicking game. Ryan Santoso, I don't know what the hell that dude was doing. But he led the team actually in points for the whole year. So you look at Riley Patterson, look at his field goals attempts that he had. He missed like one field goal all year. He didn't miss a PAT all season long. So Riley Patterson is my special teams player of the year. What you guys got?
Yeah, I double that. Riley Patterson, man. There's no way that you could not say he is. Maybe you could say Jack Fox because that's mega leg. You know what I'm saying? That's Boogatron. That's Boogatron. all them trons and megas and all of that. So but it gotta be Riley Patterson, man. It gotta be.
I thought for sure that one of y'all was gonna pick Jack Fox, so I will. We got to even see him throw the ball a couple of times, man. I'm going with that boy Jack Fox, man. He can, as well as with the team that we're trying to build here. Field position is going to be key, and he helped us flip the field a few times, helped pin some guys in bad position a few times throughout the season. And he got, like I said, he got to throw a couple of passes. He looked good doing it. You know what I'm saying? Was it him who was with the? Was it Jack Fox who was doing the onside kicks? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know.
I think it was. I think it was.
I'm gonna give him credit for it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because he's the kickoff specialist. Jack Fox is the kickoff specialist. So yeah, I believe it was Jack Fox. Now I will say this. I will say this. I didn't see a fall off between Scott Daly and Dom Muleback when they released him. And then they brought him back into the fold. I didn't see bad snaps in the punt game or the kicking game. So I'm not saying that Scott Daly is my specialty, but I'm just saying that he did a solid job. He did a solid job.
Yeah.
You look at what he did this season, because one thing you could count on with Dom Muleback. Dom Muleback, he was never an over snap or under snap, and I saw the same thing this year from Scott Daly, and it kind of probably helped that Dom Muleback was on the staff. So as an advisor to the special teams coordinator. So there you go.
And how dope is that? How dope is that he getting an NFL salary to snap a ball? That's great.
Hey.
To each his own.
Somebody got to do it.
Right. I'm just saying that's a good job to have.
Yeah, somebody got to do it. Oh, so okay. So with those, that finishes up our awards for the year. Definitely, we're looking at that. We had so much fun doing the season in review for you guys. So we really appreciate you checking out the content right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. If you want to get yourself some Prowl Nation gear, go over to lionsontheprowlshop.com. Get yourself some Prowl Nation gear. I talked with Val last night. We're working on a plan. It's going to be some upgrades in that gear. So just stay tuned. And when it comes out and we let you guys know, you're going to be surprised. And we're going to have some good gear coming out for you here in the near future. But now it's time for us This is my favorite, actually, favorite segment of the show, because it's time for us to zip our lip and talk about what you had to say about yesterday's show. It's time for the comment cards, baby. Now, up first, we have Jack Waters says Aubrey Pleasant is a damn good coach. Man, I believe in that, man. I will co-sign all. Let me get my pen. I'm gonna co-sign that all day. All right, he will be our next D coordinator if I think that will happen once Aaron Glenn, because I think he's gonna get a coaching job, a head coaching job here soon. I don't think he leaves for Denver, but he has an interview today. But I digress on that because I don't want to upset that one. But what you got, LL?
John Robinson, and congrats to Aaron Glenn. But however it goes, congrats to you. You always have my respect. But John Robinson says the culture Dan and staff have created will be the destination for free agents to want to play here instead of getting an overpay to come here. That's key. Yep. That's actually key, because we had to overpay B and C players like Trey Flowers to come here and hog up some cap room. So. Yeah.
Mike and Chris G say, Coach, you have to give credit where credit is due. Aubrey Pleasant turned these no names into a decent secondary. Just wait. When healthy, these guys are going to be good, and I agree with you 100%.
All right. Ted Cheney says, Curt, loved your final thought. Hopefully other teams are in need of the top two edge rushers, and we move back and get Kyle Hamilton, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, or Devin Lloyd in the first round.
Those was the name that was going around yesterday. Even
I like Jordan Davis. The only thing is his legs too skinny. For him to be that great and that big, he got real skinny legs, and that scares me. I'm not saying he's not gonna be a great pro, but I wouldn't mind him here either though.
Skinny legs for a big dude, huh? Yeah, right. I feel you. The chicken, you can't have the chicken legs on a big dude.
Square pants.
Yeah. RV Jackpot says I agree with the coach. I figured a 4-3 with the personnel we have. We need a pass rusher or two linebackers and a safety. I like that. As for me, I like that the Dean fella, man. That dude, you stick him in the middle with Derek Barnes, man. That'll be a formidable pair in the inside linebacker.
Good question. Nakobe Dean or now I can't remember his name. I think it's Christian Harris from Alabama. Mm-hmm. I'm asking you, like, who, if you could choose out of those, who would you choose? Or both of y'all.
I like Dean just because of the fact I like the way he plays sideline to sideline. I like him. I think he would really mesh well with Derek Barnes.
I'm in favor of Lloyd. So.
Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm in favor of Lloyd, man. I think he fits that mold.
Where I like Christian Harris. I'm not saying Nakobe Dean is no worse, but I like Christian Harris.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those guys.
No, you can't. You can't. Resident of the show, Turner C. Burley says, we might get Tyler Huntley from the Ravens because he is cheaper. He is a cheaper Lamar Jackson. I don't know if he's quite all of that, but I see what you're saying. Hey, maybe you never know what the future holds, Turner.
I don't think that, to be honest with you, I don't think they let him go because the fact
the
Ravens is because, okay, we got two of the same players. So one of these guys get hurt, there's not a big drop off. I mean, he might not have the arm strength of a Lamar Jackson, but he's talented. That guy is not a big drop off in the. Mm-hmm. They can call the same plays with Huntley as they can with Lamar Jackson. I mean, that's just, it is what it is.
And they both free agents this year, so they better figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, thank all you guys for your comments. Of course, throughout the show, leave comments. We'll pick 6 of them to go on the next show. But enough of that. We're going to go from there to everybody else's favorite segment on the show, even though, Curt said comment cards is his, but everybody else's favorite segment on the show, and that is the Dessert with your man, Curt.
All right, Dessert with your man, Curt is brought to you by Delightful Bites, custom cookies and desserts for any occasion. And you can go over to Delightful Bites over there on Facebook, or you can email her directly at delightfulbites18@gmail.com to get yourself some of those delicious and delectable treats over there at Delightful Bites. Delightful Bites, get your cookie on. All right, first up, we have NFC Defensive Player of the Week was none other than 21 Savage himself, Tracy Walker, led the team in tackles and had the game-saving interception at the end of the game to close out that win against the Packers on Sunday. So Tracy Walker is the Defensive Player of the Week for the National Football Conference. And I want to go back to something that LL said, and I got to bring out a special hat for this one because it's a special brim. It's a limited edition. I've never saw this hat again because that's why I bought it. My man, Megatron, was in the building at Ford Field. He even hashtagged the Lions. It looks like they're working that thing out, and I'm loving to see him. He was saying, back in the den, he hashtagged the Lions. So I'm like, okay, if you hashtagging the Lions, that means something's good in the works that we're gonna fix that relationship between the Calvin Johnson and the team. So the story behind this hat. Before we get out of here, I was walking in the mall here in North Carolina in Fayetteville, and I was in DTLR, and I happened to walk past, and I saw this hat, and I was like, I thought it was a Lions hat, and I'm like, no, that says Megatron in Lions colors. I'm like, where in the hell? And I've never seen it again. I've had people try to buy it off me because it's a limited edition Transformers hat in Lions colors, and it has Megatron on it. So I would never get rid of this hat ever. I wear it with some of my Calvin. When it's Throwback Thursday, I wear some Calvin Johnson gear. I always rock my Megatron cap. So shout out to Megatron for
that's what happened.
Again,
that's dope. That's dope.
Man, his money back.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where I will always pay tribute to Calvin Johnson. I even had a custom jersey made with 81 and Megatron on the back instead of Johnson. So shout out to Calvin Johnson, man, and I hope that they can fix that and give that dude his paper. He was in his Megatron gear at Ford Field, so it was great to see that on Twitter yesterday. So that's
he about to come back and play.
Yeah. Nah, I don't need him to play. I need him to get his money and be an ambassador. But that body was toe up. So final thoughts for today's show. How did you see the coaches and this is your final thoughts for today's show, LL?
Well, I liken back to the opening presser. He said all of what seemed was crazy thing, and it kind of came to fruition. You know what I'm saying? As far as biting kneecaps and roughing them up, man. Anytime you come here, anytime you play us, rather here on the road, it's gonna be a fight, man. And I like that meme that's flying around and saying, "Hey, man, welcome to Detroit." I hope that becomes a staple here, and things like that. So, of course, on this Thursday, be kind, go out there, have a great day, eat some great food.
Right on. And I like the idea of player coaches. I think that relates to players. That's a new trend going on, and actually, I applied for the head coaching job at Jackson Northwest High School, because I'm in the, the coach resigned, and I'm in the player coaches. That's the new wave. They don't want to listen to the general no more, just preaching and just telling you what to do. They want to know, can you do that? Because you know what I'm saying? Because you were asking me to do it. Can you do it? If you can't do it, you ain't doing it. So so shout out to all those coaches, man, and they getting them boys to play, man.
I thought you was gonna say you was for the head coach's job, but the Jacksonville Jaguars. I was like, go ahead. I want to see the tape. What? Word.
Wow.
Hey, just give me some tickets.
Okay. For me, my final thoughts on the coaching staff, like I said, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell is the epitome of he walks the talk. You know what I'm saying? The things that he said, the things that he did. If he said if he wasn't gonna give your maximum effort here in Detroit, you were going to be out of here. And you saw that with all the players that they released, that they ate all that cap money to get some of these guys in the bad contracts out of Detroit. So you saw that all throughout the season. He was like, this is how we're going to do it here. And if you don't like it, you can roll. And, he didn't back down. And I like the way that he coached the team all year, even with the taking over the play calling. The team took on his identity, and he did some of those things, exploiting matchups. If you wanted to run the ball, if a certain play was running, he could run the ball until they could stop it. And even on the defensive side, if we got beat, and they kept doing it. He wasn't mad because guess what? They did exactly what he would have done if he was the opposing coach.
Mhm.
So if you look at that, Dan Campbell has a bright future in Detroit, and like we said earlier in the show, it's going to be a free agent destination because people are going to want to come and play for Dan Campbell. Mark my words, it will happen soon. But with that being said, the coaching staff did an excellent job of what we had to work with this season. And it's only going to get better because the talent level is going to improve, and the youth movement is going to be a thing that's going to happen in Detroit. We're going to get younger, we're going to get better, and it's going to be a big thing. We're going to have some success in the Motor City in the near future. I see it. May not be next season, but it ain't going to be far off. But with that being said, it is Thursday. This is my last show of this week, and we will not be having shows next week as it is my 50th birthday tomorrow. I'm going to traveling with the family, so I'm going on a little vacay, you know what I'm saying? So we will definitely see you guys next the week after next, and I'm just going to enjoy my family, you know, celebrating my 50th, man. And for individuals, you know, and a lot of people that some people that I know that I grew up with, they ain't make it to 50. They ain't make it to 20. They ain't make it to, you know what I'm saying, out of 18. So, but it is what it is. And, you know, I'm going to have fun with my family celebrating. I get to see my grandkids. I get to see my daughter. I get to see my nephew. I get to see my son-in-law. So we're going to have some fun. We're going to turn up a little bit and have some fun on my 50th. So we will see you guys in the week after next, and we will pick up our content. Then we would start doing some draft previews, some deep dives into some of the players, and just have some good old fashioned fun talking Detroit Lions as we go forward. So, you know, it's lunchtime. So you know what you got to do for your boy. Get them crumbs off your face because you know you had a cookie with your lunch. Finish your drink and get back to work, baby. And whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For my fellas, LL and Coach Mike, this is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon. We love you, Jim.